things got even worse with Danny. One of the last things we did in class was a game where we got tested on all the knowledge we had learned from every class. We got asked math problems, history questions, vocabulary, and some science. It seemed like it would be pretty fun. Here is how the game worked. Mr. Oglethorpe asked two people the same question. The first one to answer correctly stayed in the game, and the other kid would be set soon across the room to sit down on the floor. They were all out of the game. Mr. Oglethorpe kept repeating that, leaving fewer and fewer people in the game. Now, I thought, I would do well at this game. I studied hard all year and paid attention during class. I definitely didn't think Danny would do very well, since he had been at a different school all year and would probably have learned different things than we learned. Boy, was I wrong. It turns out Danny was really smart. He knew that the formula for volume was length times width times height. He knew the First Amendment of the Constitution protected free speech. He knew that an invertebrate was an animal without a spine. He knew what an acute angle and a repeating decimals were. I also knew the answer to these questions as well as the questions I got asked. As the game pressed on, you guessed it, the last two people in the game were Danny Reinhardt and me. The whole class was watching and cheering us on. Most of the kids were cheering for me because they knew me, and because Kenny and Nathan were cheering loudly for me. When it was just the two of us left, Mr. Oglethorpe said, "Okay, for this final round, I will ask 5 questions. Whoever gets 3 of them right will be the champion. You guys got it?" "Got it," I replied. "Yes, sir," Danny said. "Okay, first question is science. What is the function of mitochondria?" It's a mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, I shouted. The class clapped for me, and I knew this one for sure. "That's right, Mark. Nicely done," Mr. Oglethorpe said. Danny whispered, "Good job. You were fast," with a smile on his face. I thought he was just trying to psych me out. "Okay, next question will be math." Mr. Oglethorpe said, "What is absolute value?" "Absolute value is the distance between a number and 0, Danny exclaimed confidently. "Ooh," Nathan and Kitty and some of the other kids responded. "That's right, Danny. Nicely done. They taught you well at your last school. It is 1 to 1. The next question will be geography. What is the capital of Turkey?" I wasn't 100% sure on this one, but I could only remember one city in Turkey, so I took a shot. "Istanbul." "Nope, not Istanbul," Mr. Oglethorpe said. "Antarctica?" Danny asked. "Yes, it is, Danny. Nicely done. That is a tough question. Thanks, Mr. Oglethorpe." "You're a good kid." How did he know that? I could barely even remember Istanbul, which is the most famous city in Turkey. And that answer got some of the class cheering for Danny. I even saw that Kenny and Nathan were impressed with that answer. Now the pressure was on. "Okay, boys," Mr. Oglethorpe said. "It's now 2-1 with Danny in the lead. If he gets this one, if he gets this one, he wins. If you get it, Mark, then there'll be another question. Here we go. The next question is math. What is the name of a triangle that has 3 sides where each side is a different scalene? I shouted. A triangle where each side is different length is called a scalene triangle. I knew it. The class cheered. That's right, Mark exclaimed. 2-2, all tied. All tied up, Mr. Oglethorpe said. The class clapped and hooted. Okay, quiet, Mr. Oglethorpe told the class, getting them to settle down. I looked at Danny. He was still smiling. I knew I wasn't. I wanted to win. I was focused, and there was Danny with a big smile on his face. I didn't get it. He's probably best friends with his dentist. Finally, Mr. Oglethorpe spoke. For the last question, we're going back to science. Ready? I'm ready, I told him. Yes, sir, Danny said. Okay, what do you call a single-cell organism with no nucleus, no mitochondria, and no a prokaryote something? Danny cut off Mr. Oglethorpe. A prokaryote is a simple single-celled organism that doesn't have a nucleus, no mitochondria, and no organelles. I had no idea. I don't think anyone in the class knew either, because they all looked at Mr. Oglethorpe to see if Danny was right or not. That is correct, Mr. Oglethorpe said. The class cheered, and Danny just sat there with a big smile on his face. Now even Nathan and Kenny were cheering. We have a winner, our new student, Danny Reinhardt. Great work, Danny. And that was it. The class all stood up and we began talking. Kenny and Nathan came over to where Danny and I were standing. Nice work, guys, Nathan said. Yeah, Danny added. I don't know how you guys knew all that stuff. Yeah, Perocri and Pokar. What was that thing? Nathan asked, unable to pronounce the word. Me either. Prokaryote. Danny said, I got lucky on that one. I happen to remember a picture we had to memorize at my last school. It was hard for me to pronounce it, so I had to study it extra hard. I think that's why I remembered it. Here was Danny, of course, being all nice to everyone and saying he was just lucky for some reason. This just made me really mad. So I said, well, you wouldn't get so lucky on the jiu-jitsu mat. Now Nathan and Kenny smiled. They knew that even though Danny might win a silly trivia contest, I could still tap him out on the mat. Jiu-jitsu? Danny asked. Yes, I told him. It's fighting. I've been training for 3 years. I have jitsu moves so scary, they frighten even me. Wow, that's awesome, Danny said, with his typical big smile. Yes, it is awesome, I told him. It felt good knowing I could beat him on the mat, until he said, I love jiu-jitsu. I have been training since I was 8. A little over 4 years. I have been wondering if there was a school here so I could go. What is the name of your school? I couldn't believe it. Danny beat me in pull-ups, then the run, then in the class quiz, and now he trains jiu-jitsu, and he's been training longer than me. What the heck? We train at Victory MMA. "You should come," Nathan said. "Yeah," Kenny added. "We have a great time there." "Awesome. I will talk to my parents today and we can train all summer long," Danny said, still with a big smile. I couldn't believe it. The final thing I thought I could beat Danny in, and it turned out he would probably be able to beat me. And now he was going to be training at my academy all summer long. My summer was ruined before it even started. The good thing was that my Uncle Jake was coming. Maybe he could help.